All right, so stop, listen to this, watch the whole video before you scroll past, right? So last night I did a live, right? And brought in a guest, a motivational, inspirational speaker, right? This guy speaks in front of thousands of people, right? He's been doing it for years and stuff, right? Plus, very successful entrepreneur, real estate investor, you know, all of that stuff, right? So put him in the main box, right? He made a comment, a statement, right, of how because he started being more selfish, right, his life changed, right? He started becoming more happier, right? Friends and family, you know, he started having a better relationships with them, business partners, you know, all of that stuff, right? His entire life changed when he started putting himself first, his needs first, right? Selfish, right? That was the term that he used. And I understood the message of what he was saying, right? The message, you know, but people in the chat, in the box and everything like that, in the panel with him, they didn't like him using the word selfish, right? They were so bogged down by his choice of wording, right, that they were missing, right? They weren't listening, right? They weren't hearing what he was saying. He was saying that, you know, in order to be happier with your life, right, to be more content, and for those around you to be happier and stuff like that, you have to put your needs first, right? You got to come first, right? You got to love yourself, right? You got to put your needs above everybody else's first, right? When he started doing that, that's when everything around him changed and stuff, right? And here's what I got out of it, because, you know, I was hearing him, right? I wasn't listening to respond. You know, a lot of people do that, right? I wasn't bogged down by his choice of wording, right? The message was clear, you know. You got to put yourself before anyone else, right? Because if not, subconsciously, it's going to affect everything. Those people around you, they're going to notice that. They're going to feel that vibration is going to be off, right? They're going to sense that, you know, especially, you know, parents and stuff. You put your kids' needs before your own and stuff like that. And listen to me before you jump down my throat, right? You put your kids' needs above your own, right? But what happens is when you do that so long, right? When your kids got to grow up, right? Once they do, they move out and stuff like that. Now you've let yourself go, health-wise, emotionally, physically, all kinds of stuff, right? And now you're left empty, and that's where the depression sets in, and that's when, you know, you have all these issues and stuff, right? But if you would have been at the same time putting your kids' needs, but if you focused on yourself, putting your needs, you know, ahead of your kids, right? You being more selfish with yourself, right? Physically, right? You know, staying healthy, emotionally, right? Mentally, spiritually, all of that stuff, focused on yourself and stuff like that. It would resonate with your kids. You'd be a happier person. And that, because you're happy, is going to translate to your kids, right? Your kids are going to feel that, right? And it's going to make them better, right? It's going to make them feel more love because you're going to be showing that. You're going to be giving that, right? And that's what he was trying to say. Like, if you're on a plane, they always tell you this, right? If the plane is going down, right, who's the first person you have to take care of first, right? Who's the first person you got to put the oxygen mask on first, right? So you got to be selfish. Who's the first person you have to think of first? Yeah, yourself. You have to think of yourself first, right? Because how are you going to help anyone else if you're unconscious, right? So that's just as simple as I can make it, you know. But, you know, too many times in our society, we get bogged down by the choice of words. You know, you use the wrong word, you know. What does it matter? You know, hear the meaning, you know. So those are my thoughts. I thought it was an interesting debate, argument, whatever you want to call it and stuff. Here goes a man, you know, who's accomplished, just giving you his point of view on his secret to being happier, to having a more successful life and stuff. And people didn't want to hear that shit because of his choice of words. And, you know, yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting that it turned into a big, huge argument because of the choice of words that he used. And he used that choice of word. He used that wording, selfishness, right? Purposely. So it's interesting, man. Anyway, thought I'd share. Now you can scroll past this.